Welcome back, everyone, to the match finally. Yes, the Singapore servers are down, so we are forced to play on China for the side of our killer and survivors. We are going to be spawning on the top side of the map on the side of Prada here, following up the chase. With Jazz, I do believe this is off in the distance here, taking the first chase onto Shaq. We are going to be using the window very nicely. I do believe that was a slow vault, unless we're in the locker somehow. No, we're at the corner, and we've lost sight of him a little bit, but we were just kind of hiding out there. We do have access to the the main pallet of Shaq. It's going to be going down instantaneously. There it is. And we are going to be delaying this hit just a little bit longer. That's going to allow us to make 5. We are 2-1 splitting in the background here. So maybe Jazz can really pull a good chase, a good first strong chase, as you'd like to see on an Oni set. Playing very patiently. He's playing immaculately well. As that pallet does go down, he does make all the way down to 4. There is no pallet here, though, so he's opted to use the window. We're just missing on the side of Prada there. And do we opt to leave? No, we opt to commit this chase. And Jazz just kind of hiding out this pallet, making that one as well, slapping, bang, he's been hit again. And Prada forced to leave this. No, he's just a little bit caught, doesn't really know what to do at the moment, but does have Bloodlust in hand. It has lost it as Jazz has been walking around this car pallet here. Now the check spots are immaculate. He's been on the DBDR in the 1v1s, but he's going to be ultimately getting hit through that at the cost of 1 generator popping. A very good start, Tavi.
Yeah, very nice start there for Jazz. I feel like with the build that he had, I assume with head-on, that means really not much exhaustion that can be used to break the Bloodlust. And still, Jazz manages to get a good around a minute and over a minute from that and actually gets reset in the distance. So that means that Prada, I don't think will get enough blood to get power here, even with the splintered hull. So that was actually an incredible play there by Bleedout. And I'm not sure. Actually, no, there is... very, very close, actually. No, there is just enough blood in the mid section of the map here, and Prada just picks up the power. And yeah, I think, again, saying before, like, Jazz didn't really have much exhaustion to work with being found first. Perhaps he was setting up a head-on play for another survivor, but of course, now getting hits and giving the power, this is when, of course, things will start to deteriorate, especially because of the servers. You know, the servers are going a bit funny with ping, and do you see Prada pop power, goes for the flick, and it is Hearts. No, that's not Hearts, that's Bandits evading the first Demon Dash there. Another pallet pre-drop, but this time runs around, does not get hit again because of the auto aim or just an overflick from Prada, and it's just going to be a continued commitment. Prada flicks again, but Bandit goes wide. Remember, this is pretty big ping on both sides. This time the 50 is one, but Light comes through, and Bandit is still going strong in this chase. That is around 75% of the power, and finally is out of pallets, has to play 50s on the rock, but it's still not going down. He wins that one, and the power's like nearly going out here, Hunter. Oh my god, that is crazy.
Yeah, he's just kind of holding Shift W at the moment, sending it where sending it needs to be. And now is caught here at the Z wall. He's going to be resulting in a tag there, but has ran out the power entirely. So, you know, the cost to effect, very good in my books. Double thumbs up, but we are going to be pre-dropping this pallet here over at corner 6. And again, no down to show for it at the moment here. Prada really trying to get that power back in his hands and really wants to leave this chase afterwards. You know, if he can get an M1 down, it's definitely still he can still definitely pull it back, but unfortunately winning every single 50 on the side of Bandit here. We'll be going down momentarily as we do have Bloodlust 2 in our back pocket, and 1, 2, 3, there it is. We are going to be picking up and slowing the game down just a little bit with our first stack of Pain Resonance if the RNG isn't diabolical to us. But my god, look at this gen pressure right now. You know, when you see the first chase and then the second chase, you just kind of expect this to happen at the moment. No Pain Res because we're too far away. Oh no, problems team. This is looking like a 3-stage if I've ever seen one. They are just kind of working main. We do have a failed skill check though, and that's going to give us some info on the side of Prada to go all the way down to the main building there. Try to catch someone maybe falling out, but they're just kind of waiting for him to come back to the top of main building, kick that generator, Eruption procced onto it. We do have access to, yes, all 4 stacks of Pain Res, Eruption, and Bamboozle if we do need it to shut down the main building. But We've opted to find 6 hearts just kind of lingering around this car pallet here. We'll be making the 50 there, and taking precedent of the pallet is Prada. That's just mighty unfortunate stuff there. We are going to be playing the 4 walls in a nice flick there. Some good mechanical work from the side of Prada. Is he going to go for the pick here, though? He should do, because there isn't really anybody in the vicinity, and he well and truly knows that. He can just go for this hook here over at 1. This is going to be the pain resonance. Oh, he's going for the middle hook, maybe? Yeah, I see the vision. He does make it, though. I mean, they do get some extra progression there over at that double generator. I think that was on the bottom side of the map, if I caught a glimpse of it correctly. Yeah, it's over at Shaq. So, you have Shaq and Main to be splitting right now. You do have Jazz just ready for that quick pull when it's safe to do so, and it is safe to do so right now. Do you have pressure over at 7 as well, as we do take another eruption proc here? Running back over to the Shack on the side of Prada, we do have some blood orbs to be taken into our grasp, and as we do have another eruption proc onto this generator, we are going to be getting head on in the back pocket, my god, and that's going to interrupt the kick. But as we do have power in hand now, we can go for a little bit of a slugfest, and we can get sluggy with it. I mean, we do still have to be careful if you're on the side of our survivors. We are going to be leaving that chase though from 5 all the way down to Main, and that is our Nia running back to hop back on that generator. That is Royce's. Yeah, look at that gen pressure in the background, Tavi. My god, this can be detrimental. It is detrimental. What am I spitting? Because you have 2 stages right now. You do have, it is 1 gen remaining, all 4 survivors left in the trial. We are hitting walls too. No, Jazz getting a little bit jiggy with it. Is going to be running in and out of the killer's peripheral vision and using the boxes inside of Main to his favor. Now has the 50 pallet to be working with. Slap, bang, stunned again is Prada. He's going to be making distance on the side of Jazz all the way down into 2. Doesn't have a window, doesn't have a pallet. He's just going to be forcing the locker, and this can be a 5-stage game at best if we are to camp Jazz out to all remaining stages. I wonder if these boys will just take out all the remaining outs out the door.
Yeah, and that was a bit of a mistake by me. I thought Jazz was head on, but he had smashed it, so I guess had to play a bit risky at the start. And anyway, it still gets an incredible result, I think, for Bleedout. That was just Jazz's chase, pretty decent, and then that that follow up from Bandit to just kind of seal the deal on the game, I think make Hearts a lot more confident. Just chasing anyone in general. Most pallets become a lot more difficult to play on ping. There's still that element of chance, but it's easier to outplay. And if you've seen some like extremely high ping matches, you would visibly notice the survivor stand still when like for a long time before an action is performed. So of course that won't be as noticeable here, but still is going to be in 6 Hearts' favor. So as we load in, we do need just 6 stages or 5 stages for fresh, which is actually, now I think about it, that is a pretty reasonable result too, Hunter. Like 5 stages for fresh, just like hook a couple of survivors, and that's GG, I guess. And you can get potentially the maximum value of pain res. And Hearts is actually opting to break both main window doors here, which is fairly interesting. I don't see that often nowadays. Usually one of them's broken, not both of them, to deny that strong window vault. But Hearts does not really care. So he started the first chase here, and on the side of the add-ons, I see some good ones, and Hearts actually kind of getting run here for a little bit, but Jake unfortunately got a bit too jiggy with it and gives away the first hit, which, might I add, is 45 seconds earlier than the previous trial. And we do find the head-on survivor as well, I believe. Or someone just around here, Sumpeng, got caught at Shaq and is going to get hit too. So that is 2 hits in a shorter time period than the previous trial, Hunter. And I think Hearts is probably looking good for this win condition currently.
I would say that's a little bit of an ambitious power usage there. You don't really want to be using power on somebody that is not healthy. I mean, you have 2 survivors in the trial injured at the moment, and you've just popped power on 2 injured survivors. I mean, you could potentially get a 2-man slug, but at the cost of your power usage, when you could just like hold it a little bit and find somebody healthy. Oh, that being said, we do get a fairly quick down for an Oni match. My god, actually, it is a very quick down for an Oni match. We only have like 75% of, no, not even 70% of 1 generator just being worked. This is not a pain resonance hook. Biru preemptively getting off that generator to deny the pain resonance information, but unfortunately, the RNG not serving Hearts. But yeah, off to a very, very strong start. You had, obviously, Duck Dewey just vaulting into the loving embrace of Six Hearts over at 5, and then committing the chase over to Shaq. You were met with a failed head-on from Sumpeng. You are correct in saying that, Tavi, and that resulted in another tag, which gave him his power very, very quickly. That being said, though, we are going to be popping the first generator of the trial as a result of one stage, so, you know, we're just we're one step closer on the side of Hearts, and we do see the scratch marks leading all the way down into 11. And yes, this is our tunnel out Duck Dewey, who is going to be running all the way down to the pallet, preemptively dropping it. He's going to be making the 50 there, and he does have Lithe in hand running all the way back down to 8, but this generator was being worked on, so maybe they've ditched it entirely, or we are running into the active and there is problems team, but it seems like they've just abandoned it entirely. So now we are playing the mind games around this R&L wall, but we're getting caught out at the check spot here on the side of Duck Dewey. I'm not too sure what the circles was all about, but we are able to make the pallet here on ping, might I add, ladies and gents. And as we do take the moonwalk around the pallet once more, we are zoned over into the corner of 9. We are pre-dropping it again. Making that vault is diabolical. Don't know how that's managed to be happening, but I mean, it's probably in Six Hearts' best interest to leave this, and with pop power on the injured player again going for the tunnel out. But you're kind of forced to chase this injured survivor now, because if you venture off of them, Tavi, you are met with the options of trying to look for healthy survivors, except they have the ability to stealth out your power. So all in all, it's not effective power usage, but it is power usage nonetheless, and it is getting Hearts his downs. He does have access to this pain resonance hook outside of main there, so as we do use it, we are going to be seeing that regression head over onto Zanao's generator here. He has preemptively got off at once upon a time, and we are going to be taking the kick over into main, though, which there is scratch marks leading over into 10. That is Sumpeng, who is just preemptively left and is going to be committing chase over towards the top side of the map. But we do have some blood orbs to be taken into effect here. Hearts going to be popping power, and this is good power usage because you have Sumpeng, who is on a full health state. Now we're going to be playing the R&L very effectively on the side of Sumpeng. But we do see generators in the background progress, and we really need this down pretty quickly, I would say. I mean, we are opting to leave it on the side of Hearts, and, you know, this is what I was talking about, is you have the potential to just stealth this out and just, you know, completely waste your power. So, I don't know, I'm getting a little bit, oh my god, they might even leave old mate on the hook to die here, as Biru does do a little bit of jiggy around the boxes. But we have gone for the pull. This will be a down onto Sumpeng, and the endurance status effect happening onto Duck Dewey as we do. This is going to slow the game down just a little bit longer with that pain resonance hook. And all of a sudden, Tavi, even though there's only 3 stages on the board, the survivors can still pull this out, but you know, Six Hearts can still capitalize on this match.
Yeah, that is completely correct there, Hunter. They managed to pop like 2 generators for the time spent from Duck Dewey just, you know, on the hook and chasing. And that is a big deal because Six Hearts needs, I believe, another fresh hook in order to secure a guaranteed victory, and a camp out on the fresh hook, of course. This down does happen too, I guess. We will not need another fresh hook. We could just get a kill. And it seems like Duck Dewey will go down here, and I don't think anyone is nearby, considering the gen pressure and the reset was happening. So Hearts, yeah, is kind of solid to go into this 3v1, but I think you are correct there. It is a risk popping the power and chasing injured survivors around and forcing the tunnel out when there's not really as much information, unless there was also another injured survivor who got reset in the distance somewhere by the start of the game because they were injured from dropping the Shack pallet and on ping. So because I believe Sumpeng was reset, there should be some kind of blood pool on the map. I'm not entirely sure where it is. Probably around the 1 area would be my guess. And Hearts is not venturing near that point, so I think the best bet would be to just wait for the passive power to recharge and then pull these blood orbs in. And seems like there might be enough though to charge most of the power. But anyway, no, we do find the survivor just quite lacking here. So Zanal takes the hit, and to me that seals the deal on this Oni set. I don't think it's possible. And now with Zanal going down, that's I guess Hearts could just camp this out, and maybe he's just getting comms from the team. Yeah, just camp this out, and it is a guaranteed win. So we see him in a little bit of indecision pick up Zanal and head to the hook. So yeah, that's going to be painless as well. It's going to slow down the game again. And Yeah, I think if Reactor want to take this away, they need something close to a miracle because Hearts still has enough power to go for another. Yeah, for to go for the Demon Dash another time. Even the blood on mid was enough here, and with a power in hand, he can pretty much secure the death of Zinal at any point in time, and he also find a survivor in the edge map. So yeah, set one, 99.9999% is going towards Bleedout. So well played on the side of Bleedout.
4K2, I have to give credit to where credit is due. I mean, although I could pick like everything that happened in this match and just point out the faults of Six Hearts, he's capitalized on their mistakes really, really well. Able to quickly get those downs in quick succession. I mean, the survivors, in all honesty, just couldn't hold up the pressure. A few misplays as well. We'll take this final chase onto Sumpeng here. But running back into Six Hearts there, he's going to be bumping into the half wall over at the edge map there. But, running back up to the main side of the building, Sumpeng doesn't really have a lot to work with here, especially being the head-on player. And power is gone. And it doesn't even really matter because as soon as we hit second stage on the side of Zanel, there will be 6 stages. So, we're taking that home on the side of Six Hearts. And it just really matters what kind of best possible result you can really pull out of the hat if you are our survivors. There's going to be a pick up and pick back and a hit back down. Sumpeng now trying to use this LNT, so he's going to try and make over to the unhook if he can, but Six Hearts knows that he's going to try and zone him in back into the top side of the map, and we are trying to unzone ourselves on the side of Sumpeng. We are going to be making this mid filler pallet here. Going to be preemptively swinging into it on the side of Six Hearts. Going to be getting slapped, stunned again. We're going to be dropping that firecracker as well, and a little bit of teabags there, showboating from Sumpeng, but I think he gets hit here, unfortunately. So, doesn't really make anything. We're just going to have to go into the next set, which is the pick of Bleedouts. It is going to be Singularity, so this one should be a sight to see. I do believe it'll be Six Hearts back on the killer, and he's done really, really well here. I mean, yeah, obviously there's things that I would have done better, but, it's easy to set up here, like I said last series, and kind of just map out the game as the spectator. When you're in the game, it's a lot of a different story. The nod is coming in from Six Hearts as well to acknowledge, he's had a good game. They're having good chases, and all these good chases are happening a little bit too late in the trial, I would say. This is something you needed a little bit earlier, yeah, you needed to be delaying the tag a lot more, my God. There's just some really bad micromanagement, unfortunately, from our boys, but yeah, no, from our boys over at Bleedout, they played immensely well on the Survivor set, and you can't fault them in any regard. And yeah, Six Hearts is able to pull a 4K2 out of the hat. He's really struggling to get this last down. I'm not too sure what the moonwalk shaken's all about, buddy. Please just get the down and go next. But I mean, it is a little bit hard considering the Survivors are playing fairly well at the very late stages of the game. As we do take the final hook onto Now, we're going to be roaming around the map to find our Slug Survivors. So, Tavi, do you have any notes? Do you have any dissection? Do you have anything you would have done correct? Anything you would have done differently? What are your thoughts?
Right, so to me, the Oni set is a very... It's like one of those difficult sets to play because you need to know kind of like... There's a lot of, I think, in my opinion, there's a lot of like micro and macro things that can be applied to the Oni set. I think the first one, which is very important, is trying to understand and call out where the good pallets are on the map. Where are the pallets? Where are the safe resources? Are there good, like, main window? Are the doors broken? Is there an eye filler? So on. Is there a pallet gym? Is there a jungle gym? Those kind of resources against an Oni are extremely, extremely important. If you want to break Bloodlust, even more important on ping.
I don't know if that was just on the spectator side, but hopefully we're all good. Fingers crossed, touch wood. And it seems to be the case as we do see our survivors load in on the top side. We do see Six Hearts loader in the 9 side. So it is quite similar to what we had last time around as we do take this next 30 seconds to I don't want to say to a minute. That might be a little bit too much time, but we are putting these cams up in some high vantage points. And does he know the spot for Shaq as well? I didn't see. Okay, usually sometimes you see Singularity mates just stick one up in the ceiling. And, there's like a little bit of a nook and cranny you can get. So, nothing of the such happening here. But regardless, So there was some nice placements, maybe able to catch somebody off guard, and it's just going to be interesting to see what kind of game plan the survivors can cook up here and now as we do try to take our first chase over at main building. We are not opting to go for it. We are still setting up on the side of Six Hearts here, so you know, placing his cams all in a nice position. And he does have access to the 2 brown add-ons. So there's I don't remember what they're called, but I think one extends the range just a little bit, and one extends the amount of biopods you get, but the amount of cams you get by 2. So we are going to be taking the first infection rate slipstream onto Sunpeng here over at the 9 side of the map, pre-dropping that pallet instantly, and that's going to be broken very quickly as we are in overclocked mode. We are going to be following up here over at mid 9. Do have access to this very nice filler, and we've greeted it very nicely on the side of Sunpeng. Did have EMP in hand, so you know, got rid of that infection rate pretty quickly. Fake teleport, love that from Six Hearts. That's going to result in a tag. Some very nice micromanagement there. He's going to follow up the chase all the way down into 11 after just running through the pallet here over at 10. That's going to be a quick break, but we do have access to the window, and we've not opted to vault it on the side of Sunpeng. Instead, we've opted to go for some line of sight breakage, and I do love that a lot as we do play the T-wall here over at corner 11. We are trying to extend the chase here for the extra 20 seconds that we need for that generator to be done. I don't think he makes the 50, unfortunately, with ping taken into account. Even off ping, I don't think he makes that. I think he just got kind of caught with his pants down, unfortunately. He's going to be getting picked up, but that's going to be the first generator proccing for the first chase. So, you know, not everything is lost, okay? So I'm not too sure if that was main or 1 that had just been worked out. I do believe it was 1 or 3, somewhere around there. I think main didn't have enough progression to be popped. Or maybe it did. Hold on a second. No, it looks like it was main. 1. No, was it actually main? My God, if that's... Main. If that's main, that's beautiful. We do have some progress here over it. Yeah, it was main. No, you're correct. Oh my God. Okay. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, no, we're setting ourselves for success here, Tavi.
And that, I think, is a really crucial gen pop as well, because I completely agree. Like, main doesn't sound like a big thing, but on this map, where you literally get 3 gen whatever you do, getting main done reduces the chances of the 3 gen being in the trial, you know, with a few gens remaining. So it's also going to be very difficult to get it done in 3v1, just because Singularity is just like that. But yeah, I guess they kind of traded that off with having the survivor like kind of in a bad location of the hook. You know, it's like in an open spot, can't really stealth, and we just found the stealthing survivor who wanted to try to save. So you can also protect Ruin on this spot, which I think, again, is a very important detail because... Oh my God, wait, Six Hearts actually found the tech, because I think there's a little bit of jump around that... Oh, and he hit second too! And Biru's going for the pull, and that might be a huge mistake coming through from Reactor, because they could have perhaps went away there. I'm not entirely sure. And Six Hearts even goes for the swing around. He's feeling so confident here, and I think there's nothing that Sunpeng can do about that except attempt a fast fall, which will get shut down. So just like that, Hunter, perhaps when the survivors were getting a bit of confidence with the main generator popped, suddenly Six Hearts finds the tech, body blocks Biru from getting around, and just like that we have an elimination 70 seconds faster than what should have been.
Yeah, no, he's played extremely well. The body blocks were on point. He was managed to body block to the point where obviously Biru had hit second. Oh, sorry, no, Sunpeng had hit second. Biru just getting that trade-off ultimately didn't result in much in the end. I think Sunpeng was a little bit reluctant to go to the middle of the map where it was a little bit stronger, as he did have access to that filler because the generators were being worked over at, I think, 6 and Shaq. So... problems team, but yeah, he was just forced to use main, and then main just didn't have anything. He couldn't make 11 or 12, unfortunately. Don't think he had enough distance after the endurance or whatnot, but we are going to be continuing chase back to Duck Dewey here over at the 3 side of the map as we do take the pre-drop here. Is going to allow us to make this filler over in the mid side of the map, but Six Hearts playing around it very nicely is going to be taking the shortcut through the loop, and that will result in a down. That's another pain resonance stack if we've got any gen pressure in the background, and we do so now. Just working on a generator that was just maybe about a quarter finish, but ultimately it's just going to lose a whole bunch of regression now. But our survivors do have 2 healthies in the trial at the moment. when you look at the match as a whole, this is looking more towards that 4K1, 4K2 territory. At best 4K1. If they pull outs from this, I'll be very proud, and I think that they definitely would deserve it in that regard. But that would require a lot of faults from the side of Six Hearts. It would also require just the survivors to micromanage perfectly to the point where they just don't make any mistakes. As we do take some nice cam placement that is going to result in a slipstream, in a tag.
Oh, wow.
And that is going to be Zanao running all the way down into main here. And we get the shot off there as we didn't break line of sight, unfortunately, getting caught in the middle of it all. And we are going to be making the window vault here. And we have access to that filler pallet now, but we opt not to use it. We're going for a little bit of whoopty-whoopty as we do drop the pallet here over in the midsection. And we are just kind of caught out here. Getting a little bit preemptively impatient here on the side of Six Hearts. Pulled up the big old gun, and then, oh, hang on a second, we've tried to stun the killer and overclock. That's not very good, is it? As we do take the slug here now, we are looking for Biru here to solidify the 4K3, my god. So, you know what, all things considered, Six Hearts definitely capitalized on this match very, very well and has played extremely well. He's going to be now finding his last hook, Biru here, who is going to be trying to salvage whatever he can out of this match, but only really has the option to pull here. Is going to be going down. Six Hearts now has the option to just kind of slug everything and just go for Duck Dewey as we do take another little bit of... oh, wait, the Dead Hard. Hold on a second. Wait, this extended the game a little bit longer than it needs to be. We can probably potentially pull this back if we're not careful. So, you know, Duck Dewey making work, and... you know, oh, we've been caught out on the side of Zanao really trying to go for that pickup. Six Hearts a little too smart, and he's definitely honed in, locked in, if you will. And he's just putting up absolute numbers for his team. Oh my god, wait, what's happened here? Hang on a second. Are we upside down? Wait, what's going on there? We are taking the hook onto Duck Dewey, and yeah. Honestly, perfectly played. I don't think I can really say anything otherwise. For the survivors, though, a lot of mistakes. I will point that out. Not just chases weren't long enough. I mean, it's just back to the basics, really, Tavi. Better death location, failed saves. It's just all, you know, stock standard, really.
Yeah, and I feel like the survivors, it was all going well. That death was, I think, unintentionally close to the ruin. So it wasn't really known that they would be able to cleanse it there near the hook. But then, yeah, Boo just maybe 1 second short of getting the pull. And then suddenly, Sumpeng is dead at 3 generators. And there's not really much you can do at that point on the survivor side, especially when, because Boo decided to trade immediately as the second stage happened, that gives less time for the survivors to do gens. It also means the pain res is imminent when Hearts returns to the slug. So yeah, just that trial I think just went horribly wrong after what seemed to be a pretty good start for Reactor. So yeah, well played to Six Hearts again. I feel like confidence shown on the side of the killer, going for the body block, going for the second body block and the swing around to secure the tunnel out, and then just good game sense, getting the job done in a 4K3 result. So now Reactor's in a very tough spot, because in the previous trial we saw the Oni get 5-staged, and Singularity, of course, it's kind of a different breed of Oni, but still an M1 killer. If we do see Bleedout show the confidence on the survivor set, then yeah, it's just 3 gens to pop. That's not that many. So something I think would just have to go catastrophically wrong, or we'd need to see a miracle from Reactor's side. That being said, I think Hearts did use the camera to cheat the location of our final survivor, so we're not going to weigh out the entire bleed out. Good for us, and yeah, I guess we get to see Mori before going into the second half.
Putting on the performance, he's played very, very well, all things considered. But loading into the next match, what can you expect from our killer? And I do believe it was Sumping who got mind gamed over at this very strong mid filler. So there is those little nooks and crannies that, there's also cam placements as well, taking those into account. On the side of the survivors, you do have access to the EMPs. You are correct, and they are always in these designated spots where if you know the locations, then you can use that to your advantage if you have that knowledge, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty stock standard. You got to take the set slow. You cannot play the singularity fast, because if you're playing the fast-paced singularity set, you're setting yourself up for failure. You see good teams do it against those mid to low-level teams, and I say that in regards to experience. I don't say that in regards to skill level, because you can always improve. But yeah, I mean, you just can't try to keep up with that kind of you kind of thing. You'll see Too Savage, take the set very fast, and that's because they can, because they genuinely have very good chases against this killer. They know when they can, what they can make, how much distance to judge, and obviously when they get their EMPs taken off. And there's also this other survivor tech that's really underrated. When you vault a window, don't move off the window. Yeah, it closes in the distance from the killer, but it takes him so long because he can't just shoot the gun at you and then appear right in front of you. No, he'll appear on the other side of the window, if that makes sense. I hope that does make sense. It used to be a very well-renowned killer back in the day. His name was Yobro. He used to play this killer 24/7, and if he was still around, he'd tell you all about the chain ball effect as well. So I think that's another thing that people tend to forget. But regardless, we are loading into more recent events here on the side of Prada. He has placed his cams all around in the 30 seconds of Yap he has set up for the entire match here. He's going to be getting that tag onto Jazz very quickly here. Now, does need a quick down if he is to set himself up for success, and we do have the EMP in hand from one of our survivors. Don't know if it was Jazz, don't know if it was somebody else in the vicinity, but as we do take the teleportation over towards 6, we are going to committing chase over at this rock with no filler pallet here, unfortunately. Going to be eating a tag and now going to use the shack pallet there. We do have six hearts with EMP in hand. Now, this is interesting because you can play EMP with survivors. You don't actually have to be holding the EMP. Your teammates can do that for you. Granted, it does take somebody off the generators, though, so, it's kind of almost like taking a hit when you're playing the Crosshair sets. But regardless, we are going to be following up chase here over back towards the shack, making use of this shack pallet very nicely. Going to be pre-drop. No, sorry. Stunned again. It's going to be Jazz, who's going to be making all the way down into 9, deep 9, or that's at least where I thought he was going to be going, as he is kind of held up here over in the corner of Shack. But Prada opting not to chase this and try to get some infection rate over at that main side of the building. We do manage to catch out Jazz, just trying to stealth around the map though. And, he's going to be kind of sitting there over at 5. Again, the ADHD cam's coming in now as we are trying to take ground back onto the generators. Corrupt intervention out of the trial now, or was there corrupt to begin with? I didn't get a quick look at the build here regardless. Yeah, there is corrupt. Okay, it's just been ran out, unfortunately, for our killer there. So, Bleedout's playing very well to be able to manage that. And we are going to be vaulting the window on the side of 6 hearts here. I do believe he is the balance player, as he was up on the hill just moments ago. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was the Nia, because I thought I caught a glimpse of it. Yeah, he's life. My bad. So, Prada, again, really struggling to commit to this first chase. Is very reluctant to just kind of sit onto one survivor at the moment, but you can't afford to do that because, your win condition is 4k4. You need to be downing and killing everybody now, and it's just not happening. Jazz is just too well versed, too smart for it. We're catching 6 hearts here, out of position, out of very good position for our killer, though. He's going to have Bloodlust 1 in hand. He's not going to be able to make the window, and he's going to be going down just moments after vaulting it. I mean, it's not really going to matter too much because we get that main building done and we're at the tie condition right now. So problems, team, if you are Reactor.
Yeah, and I think that there was just only have like perhaps one pick with what Prada was doing. I think while chasing Jazz on Shack, there was an opportunity to try and apply. In Clash Royale, you might call it dual lane pressure, but in Dead by Daylight, I think it's probably just called map pressure, where I think because Jazz was zoned on the backside of Shack, Prada can just go ahead and check cams and maybe get a few free infections via that. But at the end of the day, what is done, and we get the first hook, of course, with 2 gens going in, and now Voices goes down 2, which was admittedly that was a lot faster than the first down. So perhaps Perhaps Reactor's hopes could be up from here, but still going to be a difficult trial to try and tie, of course, because Prada cannot allow one generator to pop lest they lose the series. So that being said, gets a nice infection onto Jazz to follow up the aggressive play, and we're gonna see perhaps a commitment here onto Hearts. Okay, Hearts is here. Pops the life and will chase around. And again, I think this is a good opportunity for Prada to check the cameras, but we will not. So we'll try get a tag onto Hearts, and there goes the win condition from Reactor. So yeah, Bleedout pops that third gen, does not get 4K3'd for sure, unless some stupid like penalty occurs, and yeah, that will be Bleedout taking the 2-0. So bit of rough start, I think, honestly, for Reactor, considering the the fact that the servers, you know, just went down. Perhaps that had some effect on morale on the Oni set. Perhaps that also affected the Oni in an extremely bad way, because, you know, 5 stages in the previous trial was a pretty big deal coming through. But regardless, Bleedout do prove themselves here in this. So yeah, 2-0, well played. Unfortunately, the bodies do not come in time, and I'm not sure what we're playing here, but loop with friends, I think, is not an option considering the survivor's already down.
Best possible result now is all you can ask for, Tavi, as we are committing the tunnel out onto 6 Hearts here. He is going to be pulled very quickly. This is going to be an endurance tag, but he is running into one of the filler pallets here over at mid 9, but has opted to go all the way down into deep 9, nice and far away from those generators being worked. You know, if you want this tunnel out, come get it. I'm all the way over in deep 9, you know, out of your way and not where you want to be. So we are going to be taking the quicker cam tag onto 6 Hearts there. Does have access to the window after breaking the pallet. We are going to be slowed down and vaulting it very nicely on the side of 6 Hearts, as we do take a quick break after preemptively just going back onto 6 Hearts here. He's going to be running past the lockers, no head-on in play there, but a body nonetheless coming in from Bandit over at the edge map, and he's going to be playing this very nicely. But we've done a little bit of jiggy around Bandit. That's going to be 6 Hearts back on the floor here. So Prada still has grounds to pull a very respectable result, maybe potentially a 4K1 if he can really take the match back into his grasp. And Officer Royces with the beamer in hand. Stop, hold. You violated the law. We've dragged him all the way down to 12, and that's not a pain resonance hook, because I'm pretty sure we pain rest him a little bit beforehand. But we are going to be taking the chase back onto Royces here, who is just kind of in this filler pallet over at 10. We are going to be breaking that instantly via the power on the side of Prada, but not opting to chase it in any regard. So going back into our cams, we are going to be trying to spot out that last stealthing survivor, as we know that Officer Royces and Bandit are playing good cop, bad cop over at that 11 side of the map. And yes, with his pants down, that is Jazz all the way over down at 5 there. As we take the kick onto 5, we are going to be going back into our camps to see if we can see where Jazz went to, and he's gone all the way down to 3, trying to get a nice shot on him, but we are pretty far away to be making anything, and we do make it eventually with line of sight. We are going to be anticipating a drop of some sort, but, you know, I mean, Jazz just kind of greeted that, and we saw that on the side of our spectators. But as we do get that generator popping in the background over at 11, we're going to be committing chase onto Jazz here over at the corner 1, and he's just making absolute work of this tile, this R&L. Just never throw the pallet, always greed, never throw the pallet, but unfortunately getting tagged there. No, I'm joking. My God, how the hell did you make that? You're not even on Singapore, mate. Like, what? Oh, and we get the last generator over at 5 done, as we did. I think we did go for a double there, and everything's just kind of gone down the toilet for Prada, unfortunately. We've been fat-shamed in the rock on the side of Jazz. He is going to be forced all the way down into 11 to make a death location that is as far from the gates as possible, as we do vault the window here back into the corner of 11. This is this dropped filler pallet here over at 10. We've opted not to use it. We're forcing the locker here, and this may be, just maybe, the 7th stage 3 fresh that we're looking for, Tavi.
Yeah, and that's still a very impressive result coming through by Bleedout on this Singularity set. Even though, of course, they did win a few generators ago, is still, you know, very nice to see them pull off a solid result. So yeah, that will conclude once our survivors do leave in... Okay, they're attempting this. All right, we've got some more gameplay for you all. We got some more gameplay since Bandit decided to trade here, so got a bit more gameplay. Maybe not 7 stages yet. Maybe it's a gorilla turned 7 stages into a 4K zero, but perhaps Pada can't actually follow up on this. So I guess Jazz kind of gets away. Bandit's gonna take the pickup actually in the distance. Will manage to get the spin burst ready, and that being said, Pada completely leaves him and tries to go for Voices instead. So maybe we're seeing 7 stages after all. Actually, Jazz gets reset. Hello, inner strength, crazy, and then actually wait, hell,
Hang on a second.
wait,
What's going on here?
There's no way. He bounced landings away. So he's trying to fake closing hatch and trying to bait Roses into going for the other game. He finally commits it. So is there enough distance for Roses to get away? And what? Wait, Potter expected him to still be on the hill, but he's gone.
Get the gate,
He's at
son!
the gate. Wait,
Get the gate!
nobody missed because the tree.
No!
And that's how you turn 7 into 5 stages. Somehow. Anyway, that will finally conclude the